Hello everyone and welcome to a very special, very concerning episode of, well, whatever this is. Look, something weird is happening in Europe, and when I say weird, I mean we may have to stage an intervention for an entire continent weird. Several European countries have decided that 2025 is the year they're putting the closed sign on the old immigration door. We're talking double-digit countries, folks. 10, to be exact. So, what in the name of borscht and baguettes is going on? Why are so many European countries suddenly channeling their inner hermit crab? Let's unpack this whole Fortress Europe situation, shall we? First up on our European Closed for Business tour is Hungary, a country that's been leading the charge against immigration for quite some time now. Led by Prime Minister Viktor Orban, Hungary has essentially decided that integration is a dirty word. In 2025 they took their border control to the next level, sealing things up tighter than a Tupperware container full of goulash. The government's reasoning: national security, economic concerns, and protecting Hungarian culture. Critics argue that Orban's government is using these issues as a smokescreen, whipping up fear and xenophobia to distract from other more pressing problems. But hey, at least they have goulash, right? Next up on our European road trip of closed borders and questionable policies, we have Poland, a country that seems to have taken Hungary's build-a-wall playbook and decided to add a few chapters of its own. Faced with mounting pressure from both rising nationalism within its borders and the ever-present watchful eye of the European Union, Poland has decided to hit the pause button on pretty much all things immigration. Refugee programs, on hold, visa regulations, tighter than a pair of skinny jeans after a pierogi buffet. The official message coming out of Warsaw: Poland for Poles. Poland's concerns about immigration aren't entirely unfounded. The country has seen a significant influx of refugees and migrants in recent years. But critics argue that the government's response has been, shall we say, a tad heavy-handed. Imagine you're hosting a dinner party and a few unexpected guests show up. It's a bit chaotic, sure, but you're managing. Then suddenly, you decide to not only stop letting anyone else in but also start kicking out some of the guests who are already there, claiming they're eating all the pierogis. And now, let's set sail for sunny Italy, a country that's gone from being a symbol of La Dolce Vita to something more resembling a lockdown fortress. In 2025, Italy decided to make a splash in the world of immigration, and not in a good way. They shut down major ports to migrant ships, essentially turning away people fleeing war and persecution. Italy argues that it's been overwhelmed by the influx of migrants, and that it simply doesn't have the resources to handle the situation. Critics argue that instead of seeking solutions and working with other European countries, Italy has chosen the every man for himself approach. So, while Italy might be known for its beautiful beaches and delicious food, its recent immigration policies leave a bit of a bitter aftertaste. Hold on to your strudels, folks, because we're heading to Austria, a country that seems to have traded its harmonious hills for a rather discordant approach to immigration. Austria has long been a country with, shall we say, mixed feelings about immigration. But in 2025, they decided to take their ambivalence to a whole new level by effectively shutting down their asylum programs and reinforcing their borders with Slovenia and Hungary. The government claims it's all about protecting Austrian values and ensuring the safety and security of its citizens, but critics argue that it's more about pandering to anti-immigration sentiments and preserving a certain idea of Austrian identity, one that seems increasingly out of touch with the realities of a globalized world. Next, we're hopping over to Sweden, a country that's gone from being the poster child for progressive values to something resembling a Scandinavian version of Footloose, where immigration is the forbidden dance. For decades, Sweden was known for its open-door policy towards refugees and migrants, but in 2025 they slammed that door shut with the force of 1,000 flat-pack furniture mishaps. Rising concerns about integration challenges and crime statistics, often fueled by misleading narratives and outright misinformation, led to a complete refugee ban. Critics argue that instead of addressing these challenges head-on, Sweden has chosen the easy way out, pulling up the drawbridge and hoping the problem just goes away. So while Sweden might still be a country of stunning natural beauty and enviable social programs, its recent immigration policies have left a bit of a chill in the air. Bonjour and welcome to France, a country that's gone from being a beacon of Enlightenment ideals to something resembling a very chic, very exclusive members-only club. For centuries, France has been a melting pot of cultures, a place where people from all walks of life came to seek refuge, opportunity, or just a really good croissant. But in 2025, after years of political pressure and rising anti-immigration sentiment, France decided to close its doors, effectively trading its reputation as a haven for diversity for a France-first approach. Critics argue that by shutting down immigration, France is betraying its own history and values, becoming a country that's more concerned with preserving the past than embracing the future. So, while France might still be a country of unparalleled beauty, culture, and culinary delights, its recent immigration policies leave a bad taste in your mouth. Hold on to your higa, because we're heading to Denmark, a country that's gone from being the epitome of cozy contentment to something resembling a Scandinavian fortress guarded by Lego Vikings. Denmark, you see, has always had a bit of a complicated relationship with immigration, but in 2025, they decided to swap their Higa vibes for a much more hardline approach. They shut down most asylum applications and introduced offshore detention centers to deter illegal migrants. Critics argue that Denmark's approach is inhumane, ineffective, and ultimately self-defeating. So, while Denmark might still be a country of stunning landscapes and impressive social progress, its recent immigration policies have left a bit of a chill in the air. Grab your wooden shoes and get ready to pedal furiously away from the Netherlands, a country that's gone from being a bastion of liberalism to something resembling a very organized, very efficient deportation center. In 2025, the Netherlands decided to trade its live and let live attitude for a much more restrictive approach to immigration. They dramatically cut immigration quotas, making it nearly impossible for new asylum seekers to enter the country. The government claims it's all about protecting Dutch traditions, preserving the Dutch language, and ensuring the long-term sustainability of their welfare state. Critics argue that the Netherlands' approach is short-sighted, inhumane, and ultimately out of step with its own history as a haven for freethinkers and those seeking refuge from persecution. So, while the Netherlands might still be a country of beautiful landscapes, innovative ideas, and a generally high quality of life, its recent immigration policies have left a bit of a sour taste in the mouth. Hold on to your waffles, folks, because we're heading to Belgium, a country that's gone from being the heart of Europe to something resembling a very well-defended chocolate shop. Belgium, you see, has always been a bit of a paradox. A country deeply divided along linguistic and cultural lines, yet somehow managing to hold it together with a combination of bureaucracy, compromise, and an unspoken agreement that waffles make everything better. But in 2025, Belgium decided to add closing its borders to its list of national specialties. They shut down certain asylum pathways, tightened citizenship laws, and generally made it much harder for people to seek refuge within their borders. Critics argue that Belgium's approach is short-sighted, inhumane, and ultimately at odds with its own history as a nation built on migration and cultural exchange. So, while Belgium might still be a country of charming towns, world-class cuisine, and a certain quirky charm, its recent immigration policies have left a bit of a bitter aftertaste. And it's not just from all those chicory-infused coffee. And finally, we arrive in Germany, a country that's gone from being a global symbol of compassion to something resembling a very well-organized, very efficient bureaucracy with a strict no-vacancy sign. Germany, you see, shocked pretty much everyone, including probably a lot of Germans, when it decided that 2025 was the year it would turn off the Willkommen sign and swap it for a much more subdued Entschuldigung, wir haben geschlossen. They reduced their refugee intake to practically zero, effectively closing the door on people fleeing war, persecution, and unimaginable hardship. Critics argue that Germany's response is not only heartless, but also short-sighted, undermining its own values and international standing. So, while Germany might still be a country of economic powerhouse, cultural richness, and a certain undeniable efficiency, its recent immigration policies have left a gaping wound in its national narrative. A wound that will take time, effort, and a whole lot of soul-searching to heal. So, there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of 10 European countries that have decided to shut their doors to the outside world. It's a sobering reminder that even in the 21st century, even in places known for their progressive values and commitment to human rights, fear, xenophobia, and a healthy dose of us versus them rhetoric can still carry the day. But the story doesn't end there. Because the real question isn't why these countries are closing their borders, but what it means for the future of Europe, and indeed the world. Will other countries follow suit, retreating into their own national shells and leaving those in need stranded? Or will we find a way to address the challenges of migration and displacement with compassion, cooperation, and a commitment to finding solutions that work for everyone? The answer, as with most things in life, is far from simple. But one thing's for sure, the choices we make today, both individually and collectively, will determine the kind of world we want to live in tomorrow. So, let's make sure we choose wisely.